The probationary period module is a module that you're going to be using if you have a sophisticated requirement in managing probationary periods. If all you need to do is track the start and finish of a probationary period and receive an alert, there is no need to use this module for that. You can do that using the standard modules. So you can set up some standard probation evaluation and probation number of days as part of your regular employment setup, and that will be applied to any person that is hired. However, if you have more sophisticated requirements, then we can use our probationary period planning module. So the first thing that we do, as with all other modules of Interact, is we look at the setup. And you notice that in the probationary period setup, you can set up a default probation period. You can actually modify the period for particular job categories. You can choose to link it to employment and hiring and to create a full-blown plan. And then have setting in terms of who initiates the probationary period, plan, what are the dimensions? Are you going to use goals, competencies, and training requirements, or will you just use one of these three or two of those three? You can choose who approves the probationary period and what is the evaluation cycle that you're going to follow, and who needs to be notified and how and when. You also have the scoring and rating that you're going to be using for the goals, for the competencies, and for the training. You see, all of this is user-defined and flexible. And then you can choose specific HR actions that result from a probationary period. So for example, you could say that after the probationary period is over, somebody will be entitled to a salary change. So you might have got other actions that you want to include here. Could be a grade or step increase, could be anything you want it to be. Now, let's go and look at what that looks like in real life. If we look at the plans that have been set up, here's a plan that has been set up for Jenny Belroy, and you will notice that the plan consists of a number of goals that she needs to achieve and by when she needs to start and complete that. It also allows for her supervisor to provide comments and to track the outcome. Secondly, you'll have competencies that are associated with her job. Here's a list of existing competencies in our competency framework, and these are the ones that she's going to be evaluated on during her probationary period. And third, there is some training that she needs to go through, and it has some details about when she needs to take that training, how many hours, and so on. And again, space for comments and outcome tracking. So you notice that this is a very detailed plan. And again, this all depends on your needs and your business, how this applies to you, whether you really need this much information, whether you want all three dimensions, or whether you just need one of these dimensions, and how many of these goals should be listed here. Now, what happens is these plans will be generated automatically. They can then be completed by the supervisor and the employee. Through the self-service, the supervisors will be able to log in and conduct the progress evaluations, the mid-probation and end-of-probation evaluations, and it could also be involved in confirming the HR actions to be taken. So here is the progress evaluation that's being done for Evelyn. So the supervisor can fill in all the comments for the progress and then update this. And once this has been done, we will approve. Of course, through self-service, the employee could also have provided some feedback. So the mid-probation evaluation is also done by the supervisor and gives them the ability to add further comments and do a scoring and fill in the completion dates when everything was completed and so on. So the system has the ability to track a lot of detail on goals, competencies, and training during a probation period. You will have a progress evaluation, a mid-probation and end-of-probation evaluation. You will notify the right people so that under no circumstance somebody would complete their probation period without having had the appropriate reviews done. And the alerts for this will be sent to the supervisors so that they are aware of their responsibility to complete this on time and in the right manner. For example, here in this case, the mid-probation review requires an approval done by HR, for example. and you can set up your approval workflows as you require. Once the probation period is over, this information will stay on the record so you can always retrieve it if there's a need for it in any time in the future.